home. Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends from across the globe and the seed community, welcome to the ISF World Seed Congress 2026. Aren't you happy that you're here? Show me. My name is Pereira, and I'll be hoping to guide you through this morning as we welcome distinguished guests and speakers, and as we prepare and launch into the next 3 days, where you, I hope, will hear amazing conversations, have great debates, innovate, and plant the seeds under which others will sit in the shade in the future. So make sure that you do 3 things. Now that you've convened, that you connect and you commit. You take things home that you change. Because otherwise it was just tourism. Okay? And this is really, really important. You are sitting in Lisbon, in Portugal, a country of innovation, a country that has always had its eyes on the horizon, the country that set off to discover worlds, but always thinking, looking towards the future. And really, the future is what we should be interested in, because that's where we are going to live, right? So you are in the right place. A country that always aspires to do better, to be bigger than its borders, to be bigger than the possibilities and the limits that it has been set. So I hope that it's in the air. It's in the air in Portugal. I hope that you breathe it in and then turn it into something amazing. Because as I look out, you really have beautiful people, sir, in your association. Is it a criteria? Okay, all right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. Now, we are all well aware that no matter how much you make efforts to get here, the organizers also work very hard. So you'll have entertainment, you'll taste a bit of our culture this morning. And the reason to appreciate culture in different places is because that's why we go to different places. If we only go to different places and we do nothing else except talk and business, we don't get to taste and get to know others. So today, you'll share a bit of our spirituality, our music, and the organizers have organized an amazing opening ceremony for you. And then a secret. I'm going to tell you a secret, so I have to come here very close. The minister really wants to come and talk to you. And he's on the other side of Lisbon, at a commitment that he already had before. And he's going to switch on his lights and really go to get here on time. But he won't be here until 10:30. So if anyone leaves the room, I'm chasing you down. Okay, all right, okay. All right, so make sure that you are here and that you behave yourselves, okay, badly, because life is too short. So for events like this to happen, we absolutely need partners and sponsors. And we are profoundly grateful to our partners and sponsors. Before we begin, we really want to say thank you to them. So let's thank effusively, because you've had your coffee and you've had your breakfast. So I want a bit of energy. So let's thank our long-term partners. And their support is fundamental. So what makes a Congress possible is partnerships and alliances. So let's thank BASF, Syngenta, Seedcare, Incotec, my pronunciation, Petcas, and Germain Seed Technology. Now you give them an amazing round of applause. Of course, we also have local sponsors, and we have exhibitors and partners and members and friends of ISF. So thank you all for whatever level or whatever kind of contribution you made to this Congress and for making it what it is. This will be a really excellent global meeting space for you to advance in the seed sector. So we could do all of this. We could have great sponsors, a great organizing team, a great venue, lots of music, but if you were not here, there would be no event. So a round of applause for you. But, and here I must say, there are no free lunches, okay? So you are 50% responsible for the success of this event. We can prepare, we can organize, but if you do not really connect to people, do business, talk to each other, and actually activate all these ideas, then nothing will happen. So 50% of the responsibility of the success of this event is you. So go out and be brilliant. Thank you for being here. So we know that we're all a global community. And of course, we speak loads of languages. Okay, we have 77 countries and more than 900 companies and organizations in the room. This is important that you can all really communicate well with each other. So although the ceremony is in English, you can follow everything in Spanish, in Portuguese, with human translators. Human translators and interpreters of the Interfly app. Oh, it's up there. Thank you very much for the efficiency of the technical team. With the Interfly app. So scan the code, enter the token, and put your earphones on to listen to simultaneous translations from live human interpreters. So this app can be used for good quality, also AI-based translations into 7 languages during all the panel discussions. So download the app, enter the token, World Seed 2026, World Seed 2026, no spaces, and you can follow the discussions in your preferred language. Or you could just listen to me. Okay. So it is absolutely my honor and my privilege to start the proceedings, and I want to make sure that you understand over the coming days we're going to discuss issues that really matter deeply to your industry and to society in general. Innovation, trade, biodiversity, and supporting farmers everywhere in getting good, reliable harvests and nourished communities. And to officially welcome us to Portugal and open this ceremony on behalf of our national hosts, please join me in welcoming the President of the Portuguese Seed Trade Association, ANSEME, and Pedro. Please join us on stage. A round of applause!
So, bom dia, sejam bem-vindos a Lisboa e espero que tenham excelente congresso. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished representatives of International Seeds Federation, all authorities, partners, research, producers, colleagues and friends. It's a great honor and a real pleasure to welcome you all to Lisbon. In this participation of ESF Congress at a real particularly relevant moment for agriculture and for the global sector of seeds. Portugal welcomes you with open arms. We are a country with a long agriculture tradition, deeply connected to the land, to the Mediterranean climate, and to the diversity of crops that we have shaped our identity and economy. At the same time, we are a country looking for the future, where innovation, science, and sustainability are becoming central pillars of agriculture development. However, the coming days in this Congress at Lisbon, bringing together people and organizations, those who are the base of the global food system, because after all, everything starts in seeds. And that's precisely why this meeting is so important in today's global context. Marque be profound the change of European agriculture in growing through a demand of a transition pride we have. To the farmers also have a big challenge because they have increased the pressure from the climate change. They are extremely weather events happens more frequently. The need to reduce the environmental impact and they need have sustainability goals. Market is volatility and have producing high costs. Geopolitical tension affect the supply chain and growing consumer expecting regarding and have quality, safety, and environmental responsibility. All of this put a high pressure in our European farmers who need to produce more with better costs and better impact in the environmental impact. In this context, the role of the seeds sector became more crucial. Seed producers, breeders face the high danger for their own. Develop varieties that are more resistant to the drought, heat, pests, and disease. Increase production while protecting natural resources. Provide the biodiversity and increasing the new breeder technology. Transforming the science knowledge into practical solution available to the farmers. Europe has strong research capacity and world-leading companies in these fields, but it also faces the challenge of maintenance competitive with a complex involving regulatory involvement. This makes this theme of this Congress particularly at the time. How we can act together to build more resistance in the future? I think the answer is simple: cooperation. Cooperation between countries, cooperation between companies, research, farmer, policymakers, and consumer. Cooperation between practical farming, cooperation between innovation and responsibility. This resilience looks for not only climate or economical, but it's also social and full resistance. It means ensuring that in a growing and changing world, we are able to produce sufficient and sustainable food. Portugal, as many other countries, face multiple change, water, and any farming population, and need more technology, more yet, but also demonstrate Portugal have adapted new innovations and have more developed in the crops, suit the Mediterranean conditions. This Congress, therefore, represents an unique opportunity to share the knowledge, the identity, the strategy, and reinforce the future of agriculture. The future will not be isolated. It will be together with collaboration with science and with a long time of vision. May this meeting in Lisbon be another strong step in that direction. I wish you all a productive and inspiration Congress of new ideas and fruit collaborations. Thank you very much for your presence here at Lisbon, and I wish you an excellent Congress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pereira Diaz. Thank you for welcoming us so warmly. And thank you, ANSEME, for hosting us and hosting the global seed community here in Lisbon, Portugal. Okay, and now I have to behave myself because I'm going to introduce the boss. Okay, it's my honor to introduce the president of the International Seed Federation, whose leadership continues to bring our diverse community and sector together around the shared purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president, Arthur Santosh Attavar.
Morning, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Linda for jump-starting this whole function with such a nice start and got us all, really excited. Lisbon, bom dia. Amazing to be here, and it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to get together. We gather this year under the theme, Joint Actions, Resilient Futures. This theme is more than a slogan. It speaks directly to the world we are living in. Farmers, companies, governments, researchers, and communities are all being asked to build resilience in the face of climate change, uncertainty in trade and regulation, pressure on food systems, and shifting societal expectations. I'm sure we experience this every day, and the seed industry and society at large understands what I'm saying. And in all of this, we know that seed has a fundamental role to play. Seed is where agriculture begins. It is an indispensable way for innovation to reach the field. It is where scientific knowledge, business acumen, environmental stewardship, and collaboration with farmers come together. That is why our work in the global seed sector matters so deeply. This year, we are pleased to welcome more than 1,800 delegates, more than 60 exhibition booths, exhibitors, and over 300 trading tables here in Lisbon. And as mentioned earlier, more than 75, 80 countries at a minimum. These numbers reflect not only the strength of this Congress, but also the growing relevance of the seed sector in a changing world. The ISF World Seed Congress continues to grow from strength to strength. Alongside increasing participation from seed companies, we are seeing greater engagement from allied businesses and partners, including software and AI solutions, seed treatment technologies, biologicals, digital applications, and many other complementary innovations. So what we are seeing and witnessing right now is a real confluence of several ideas that are coming together to make seed quality much better, to make the experience for the grower much better, and to give quality seed to the farmers. This matters because the future of seed will not be built by the seed sector alone. It will be built through the collaboration across the agricultural value chain with technology providers, researchers, farmers, regulators, and national and regional seed associations, young leaders, of which many who are present here today, women leaders, entrepreneurs, and partners from many sectors who share the same purpose. At the World Seed Congress, we are not only meeting as an industry, we are building ecosystems. And these ecosystems must include companies of all sizes, from family businesses to large corporations. It must include voices from every region. It must include farmers working at every scale, from large-scale producers to smallholder farmers. It must include the next generation of business and agricultural leaders because they will carry this sector forward. Over the past year, ISF, represented by its board of directors, has convened in Southeast Asia and Africa, reflecting our strong commitment to global engagement and local collaboration, especially in the regions where the challenge of building resilient seed and food systems remain significant. Personally, during my 2 years as ISF president, I've had the immense privilege of visiting many countries and engaging with government authorities, seed associations, seed companies, and farmers. I've met family business owners and large corporations. I have spoken with large-scale farmers in Brazil and smallholder farmers in Rwanda. These experiences have reminded me of one of ISF's great strengths. It brings us into contact with realities beyond our own. It helps us to listen, learn, and understand how different systems work in different parts of the world. And it reminds us that while our contexts may be different, our purpose is shared to ensure farmers everywhere have access to quality seed of their choice at the right time to support food security and sustainable agriculture. This brings me to one of the most important priorities for the future of our sector: youth engagement. In recent years, ISF has increased its work with students and young professionals, including inviting youth ambassadors to our Congress. These efforts are not symbolic. They form part of a strategy to make our industry more visible, more attractive, and more viable to young people. Because, as many of us in the room know, the seed sector offers meaningful careers in science, business, production, policy, communication, sustainability, digital technology, and entrepreneurship. Yesterday, here in Lisbon, we had a valuable sounding board session between youth ambassadors from several countries with the ISF board of directors. It was another important step in bringing generations closer together and better understanding the questions, expectations, and ambitions of many young leaders who are with this Congress. And we had a very good sounding board, an interaction where we spoke to them and they asked us a lot of questions and they gave us their perspective and how we as a seed industry could improve things. So I really thank the board members who really supported this effort despite their busy schedule, and also thank the board for continuously backing me up during my leadership. The youth are not only the future of our sector, they're already part of its present. Another example, my own company had the pleasure of hosting one of last year's youth ambassadors, Maweje Habat from Uganda, for training in seed production and quality control. This kind of practical experience matters. It opens doors, builds skills, and creates relationships that can last far beyond one Congress or just one program. I encourage more companies to come forward and support these initiatives through ISF, offer training, offer mentorship, offer exposure, open your doors. If we want the next generation to lead, we must first give them space to grow. Inclusiveness also means ensuring that women have a stronger voice and greater visibility across our sector. I would like to recognize the initiatives ISF has led, including the Women's Seed Leadership Program, which has grown significantly since it began a few years ago. A stronger seed sector is one that draws fully on the talent, experience, and leadership of all its people. I am pleased to share that yesterday at the President's dinner, we honored two outstanding leaders from our national seed associations, Dr. Lukeshni Chetty of Sansor and Mario Schindler of Anpros, who received honorary lifetime membership for their exceptional contribution to the global seed industry and to ISF. Please join me in giving them a warm round of applause. Their dedication reflects what makes ISF relevant, active, engaged national seed associations by committed professionals who work not only towards national goals, but are able to look beyond their borders towards our shared regional and global priorities. With the ISF workflow, the key strategic objectives for 26 to 2030 have now been rolled out. These objectives will guide the next phase of ISF's work through our working groups and you, our members. So in closing, my call to action today is this. Let us use this Congress not only to meet, trade, and exchange ideas, but to build something stronger together. Let us strengthen partnerships across regions and sectors. Let us support innovation while keeping farmer choice at the heart of our work. Let us advocate clearly and confidently for science-based policies. Let us invest in young people as a core responsibility. And let us ensure that businesses of all sizes in all regions can be part of the future we are building. The challenges before us are real, but so is our capacity to respond. I look forward to meeting many of you over the coming days. I wish you all a very successful Congress, and thank you very much.
Now, we come to our first musical intervention. And I have to give you some training before it starts. We're going to hear Fado. Fado is intrinsically rooted in the history of Portugal. It was a music of passion and longing. When sailors set out, it was about saudade, a Portuguese word which has no translation, but it means to miss someone intrinsically in your bones, in your heart, in your soul. Fado is never about pop love. It's about longing and tearing your cape off and passion and daggers and sword fights in the night. That's what Fado is about. But when you listen to Fado, you don't really just listen with your ears. You have to listen with your soul. So you have to close your eyes and just let the waves come over you of that sultry music which wraps you and invites you to dance something, okay? Don't stand up and dance, just feel it, sit and feel it. And you are very privileged people because you're going to hear a lady whom we all admire and respect. She's considered one of our greatest revelations. And the young generation, because the father went through a dark zone, and now the young generation have picked it up and completely innovated it. And that's what it's all about, innovating, doing things differently. And this young lady is known as the diva of a different fado. You are so lucky, okay? Because you get to hear two amazing guitarists, because fado is always a singer with two guitars, the classical guitar and the Portuguese guitar, which has 6 strings. It's a little bit different. And you're going to hear our diva, Ana Leins. Please welcome her warmly.
Good morning. Oh, good morning. It's not usual to sing in the morning, so today it will be a little bit smoky voice. But we will count on you in a certain point. Welcome. It's a great honor to represent our music here today. Thank you for coming. Os meus olhos são dois círios, dando luz triste ao meu rosto. Os meus olhos são dois círios, dando luz triste ao meu rosto, marcado pelos martírios da saudade e do desgosto, marcado pelos martírios da saudade e do desgosto. Quando ouço bater trindade e a tarde já vai no fim, quando ouço bater trindades e a tarde já vai no fim, eu peço às tuas saudades um Padre Nosso por mim. Eu peço às tuas saudades um Padre Nosso por mim. Mas não sabes fazer prece, não tens saudade nem pranto, mas não sabes fazer prece, não tens saudade nem pranto. Por que é que tu me aborreces? Por que é que eu te quero tanto? Por que é que tu me aborreces? Por que é que eu te quero tanto? És para meu desespero como as nuvens que andam altas. És para meu desespero como as nuvens que andam dias te espero, todos os dias me faltas. Thank you so much. Are you all awake? Okay, that's good because I'm not. Because I would like to talk to you, not much, but just to tell you that Portuguese history, it's really connected and related to the sea. Because of very different stories, but especially our conquerors, fishing, men, poverty also related to the sea, and losing somebody we love in the sea. So I would like to invite you all to just close your eyes. Don't sleep, okay? But please close your eyes and open your hearts, because we're going to play a song named The Sea Song, Canção do Mar in Portuguese. And it's a beautiful melody. And all we want is you just to feel it, because it really reminds us of the waves. Let's go? Let's go? Okay. Diz que eu fui roubar a luz sem par do teu olhar tão lindo. Vem saber se o mar terá razão. Se eu bailar no meu bater, não vou ao mar cruel e nem lhe digo onde eu fui cantar, sorrir, bailar, viver, contigo. Cantar, subir, bailar, viver, sonhar contigo. Did you learn it? Very easy. You can do it. Very good. Once again. Thank you. Thank you. So before we play our last song, it's just 3 songs, I would like to introduce to you, playing the Portuguese guitar, Mr. Bruno Mira. And playing the classical guitar, what's your name? Just kidding. André Santosh. Okay, Fado, it's not always about pain, about drama. Well, actually, it is, right? It is. But it's also about drinking to forget. Okay, it's really early to drink, but we would like, it isn't? We would like to finish our presentation with a happier song, full of rhythm, actually, chula or malhão, whatever. It's a traditional Portuguese rhythm from the north of Portugal. And Amália, our most amazing Portuguese singer of all times, she left us with this amazing repertoire. And this song is named, how do I translate this? Vou dar de beber à dor. I will drink to forget. Something like that. Okay, I hope you can feel it. Let's go. Hey! Foi no domingo passado que passei à casa onde vivia Mariquinhas, mas está tudo tão mudado que não vi nenhum lado as tais janelas que tinham tabuinhas. Do resto ao telhado não vi nada, nada, nada que fizesse recordar a Mariquinhas. E há um vidro quebrado e azulado onde havia as tabuinhas. Vai! Entrei onde era a sala, agora está à secretária um sujeito que é lingrinhas, mas não vi colcha com barra, nem viola, nem guitarra, nem espreitadelas furtivas das vizinhas. O tempo cravou a cara na alma daquela casa onde à noite piscávamos sardinhas, onde em noites de guitarra e de farra estava alegre a Mariquinha. As janelas tão garridas que ficavam com cortinas sapatos de chita, as pintinhas perderam toda a graça, porque é hoje uma vidraça com cercadura de lata às voltinhas. E lá para dentro quem passa hoje é para ir ao pinheiro entregar os horários das coisinhas. E chega esta desgraça, toda a graça, na casa da Mariquinha, gira! O que fizeram, melhor fora que a mandassem para as alminhas, pois ser casa de pinhouros, o que foi viver de amores, a ideia que não cabe cá nas minhas, recordações do calor e das saudades, o gosto que eu vou procurar esquecer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Annalines. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you did very well. Some of you actually had your eyes closed. Well done. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now I want to thank everyone who was on stage just now. It was brilliant. Okay, and we move on. It's important to also think of the culture, because agriculture and seeds and what you do, it's not just about technology and innovation. It is essentially human too. And connecting with our human side and creativity is absolutely necessary to connect communities and to connect families and to connect landscapes and to understand truly what we are working together to build. And that is wonderful. That's why culture is so important. So our next speaker brings a global development and agribusiness perspective to that future that we have been talking about. So at a time when agri-foods are under pressure and investment choices really do matter, the seed sector has an essential role in enabling productivity, resilience, and opportunity for farmers. So please welcome our next guest, the World Bank Group Global Director of Farming and Agribusiness, Mr. Anup Jagwani. A bit more enthusiasm. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. That was an amazing performance, right? Shook me. And if my trip is made special, that would be one reason, definitely. If I don't get to do anything else, I think that was amazing in itself, right? No, and I'm going to follow up, Linda, on this Fadu, right? Yes. I need to learn a little bit more. So I learned something new today. And of course, I won't match Linda's energy here, but I'm really happy to be with you today. And you know, when I heard about this conference, this event, this Congress, the colleague of mine informed me, I said, I need to be here. And I'll tell you why I said that I need to be here. First, let me thank you. Let me thank you for inviting me here. And also, I'm honored that I can join several of you in this space, really doing the good work. what resonated with me coming here is this joint actions, resilient futures. Really, this is what we're about. This is exactly what we're about. And I was listening to Mario yesterday at dinner, and seed is life as you have it here. Seed is innovation. Seed is food security. Seed is the building block of jobs. And that's what we need today. Today, the North Star for the World Bank is jobs, because that's what we need to help people. About 1.2 billion people are coming into the work stream over the next decade and a half, and we'll have only about 400 million jobs. So we've got a real challenge from the development front coming to us. And the seed sector has an important role to play in this. And these are challenging times. We know that. We know the kind of chaos that exists in the world today. The price of urea alone has gone up significantly, more than 30%, maybe 60% by the end of the year. And you heard from Pedro and Santosh earlier, the extreme weather events, flooding, droughts, and some of us remember the drought in Southern Africa 2 years ago. Cereal yields dropped from 16 to 50%. And these shocks are hitting at the worst possible moment. It's like things coming together. There's a possible El Nino, one of the worst ones coming in the second half of the year. We've just got one crisis after another. And at the same time, we've got 2.6 billion people in the world, so a third of the population, that has difficulty getting access to healthy diets. 2.6 billion, a third, right? And over 300 million people go to bed hungry every day. We've got real challenges on the food security side for us. And agribusiness not only underpins food security, as I mentioned, it's a job creator. And this is where this joint action, interconnected approach to strengthen agribusiness becomes important. And reducing food insecurity and increasing production cannot be achieved without ensuring that farmers have access to right, context-relevant seeds. So you in this room have a fundamental role to play in that journey. And this means seeds can build that resilience, address those challenges that are posed by, as I mentioned, urea, high costs, extreme weather, malnutrition, and consumer preferences. Seeds need to have an impact where farmers have limited access to water, inputs. And this is where, again, the innovation that you bring can be significant. Advancements in R&D are providing farmers with varieties that can help offset some of these challenges that they face. For example, in South and Southeast Asia, drought-tolerant seed varieties for rice developed by the IRRI have helped deliver an average yield advantage over almost 1 ton, so 0.8 to 1.2 tons per hectare over drought-susceptible seeds. This is where innovation can play a role. And so when we talk about seeds, we can also link to smallholder farmers, because there are over 500 million of them across the world. And those I'm talking about are less than 2 hectares. In some parts of the world, sub-Saharan Africa, smallholder farmers are responsible for up to 70% of the food provided. So they really are an important building block for this. And they also help produce the seeds to contract farming, and also the buyers of seeds. However, we know seeds are not alone in supporting that agribusiness ecosystem. We need other inputs, sources of water, and their fundamental extension services, training, access to finance, insurance, markets, and the right digital tools. And you heard some of that before. And you heard about the importance of youth, and I connect that Santosh talked about, right? And this is where the World Bank and the World Bank's recently launched AgriConnect comes in, right? And I'm sure some of you are wondering, what is this guy from the World Bank doing here? And this is exactly what I was telling Santosh yesterday, that we have an important role to play in agri-food systems globally. We provide, annually, the World Bank, for those of you who don't know, as a multilateral institution owned by your member country governments. Over 190 member countries collectively own the World Bank. We provide over $120 billion in financing. And over 60 billion of that financing goes to the private sector. Most of you in this room, through the International Finance Corporation. And that's our role. We work with governments on policy. We work with governments on training, capacity building. That's the role of the World Bank and reaching and connecting and helping policy. So when we launched AgriConnect, essentially it was to scale the support to the agribusiness sector overall. And several partners have joined us in this, private and public companies. And what we aim to do is address food security through job creation and farming as a business and connecting farmers to markets. So this is the key part. We need to have farming as a business that we translate the subsistence to surplus for farmers. So the AgriConnect initiative aims to transform for over 300 million farmers. That's our goal. We're reaching 300 million farmers. And I'm sure sitting with you, we can reach over 1.5 billion farmers right here. But this is where we need to partner. The joint action part comes back today. What we're doing today in the AgriConnect is signing compacts with governments. So 6 governments have already signed compacts. They're going to do something about the agribusiness systems to advance the agribusiness sector. Your voice as the private sector and public sector becomes an important piece of that discussion with governments as we look to sign and engage with 50 other governments worldwide that are keen to advance the agribusiness sectors. Your voice in shaping policy, in supporting that sector, extension services, financing that becomes important. And this is where our role becomes important. This is where I would be more than happy to engage with you, with my team, to see how we can advance the collaboration together with you. And so, example that I talked about R&D, many of you know the World Bank supports the CGIAR system. We support the production of seeds of different kind, innovation, and this is the key foundation for development. In the World Bank, we have 3 key pillars. One is the foundational infrastructure, both physical and human. We have policy that we focus on and mobilizing capital. So these 3 building blocks form the core of our strategy in addressing food systems and development globally. And so with that, I want to say, again, thank you very much for having me here. I'm lucky to be able to see your work in action. I was out in Zambia just earlier part of March, and I saw a hybrid seed plant of beer that's reaching 6.5 million farmers and aims to reach 10 million farmers. And I'm sure several of you are doing similar things to reach more farmers. And this is where the agribusiness challenge that we are dealing with is real and large. And we know that the public sector alone cannot do it. You in the room, the private sector, are extremely important. And we as development finance institutions need to support you in that journey because our goals at the end of the day are same. And progress happens when the right people are in the same room, right, willing to have honest conversations and willing to do the hard work of coordinating across different interests and incentives. This Congress is one of those rooms, and I look forward to the conversation with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ooh, I've just noticed people coming in. You've missed a really great show so far. Okay, our next guest, and thank you, Jagwani, for that insightful presentation where you highlighted really interesting things, the importance of farming, agribusiness, building the resilient communities. Thank you so much. Thank you. Our next speaker is going to bring another perspective and is going to look at the conversation from a different lens, from the lens of trade. So as seeds move through international systems of regulation, standard, partnerships, and trust, when these systems work well, innovation can reach farmers more efficiently, and countries can strengthen their food and nutrition security. So, to talk to us and to address us today, I would like to welcome on stage the Director of the Agriculture and Commodities Division at the World Trade Organization, Dr. Edwini Kessie. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Great pleasure.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, I would like to start by thanking the ISF. The WTO has enhanced its collaboration with the ISF and we plan to deepen that collaboration because we see value in such collaboration, because our work on food security is very important. There are about over 670 million people who suffer from chronic malnutrition and hunger. And we feel that having improved seeds is good value, and it can help in the efforts of the WTO and member states to try to address hunger and also fulfill the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which aims to achieve zero hunger. Although I think that deadline will be missed by 2030, but still I think we shouldn't give up. The theme of this year's event is Joint Actions, Resilient Futures. And at the World Trade Organization, we are very much aware of the need for collective action to address the shared challenges that we face. If we want to have well-functioning food markets, global rules and institutions matter. This is true for the sea sector, just as it is for the food and agriculture sector more broadly. In my remarks this morning, I'd like to look briefly at three main questions. One, how is trade relevant to the challenges the global food system faces today? Two, how can better rules contribute to better functioning markets, including for the seed sector, and what contribution can the seed sector make? So let me begin with the first. How is trade relevant to the challenges the global food system faces today? A glance at the headlines suggests that we are living through a period of unprecedented turbulence. Geopolitical tensions, trade disruptions, climate shocks, and much more besides. And it is easy to get the impression that governments are turning their backs on the global rules that have underpinned strong and steady growth in trade in farm goods in recent decades. Last year, trade in the agriculture sector amounted to $2 trillion, and the seed sector around 90 billion. So we have seen a tremendous expansion of trade. In fact, world trade totaled 33 trillion last year. And 3/4 of global goods trade, notwithstanding the disruptions that we have seen, still about 75% of global trade continue to take place under WTO rules, which is remarkable, notwithstanding the tariffs imposed by the United States since April last year. We have seen a flurry of new bilateral and regional trade agreements being signed as governments seek to deepen their economic integration and strengthen their ties with one another, with most of these agreements drawing inspiration from WTO rules. And at the World Trade Organization, we have been struck by the high priority that all our members accord to food and agriculture. For example, on our rules on food safety, plant and animal health, they remain highly prized by our membership. In fact, I was just reading a report issued by UNCTAD yesterday, and according to that report, about 88 countries, non-tariff measures actually exceed the tariff restrictions that they face. So it's very important, and I think for seed traders, the SPS rules of the WTO are quite important because the rules stress the importance of science-based measures rather than countries having arbitrary or discretionary rules which tend to impede trade in seeds and other products. Our members have obviously faced difficulties in advancing negotiations aimed at establishing a fair and market-oriented agricultural trading system. It is quite ironic. All WTO members say agriculture is very important, but the positions are so entrenched that we have had a hard time in navigating the difficulties. But I think all countries realize that we need to have better, improved rules. We have the problem, as one of our previous speakers said, world population is growing very fast, and we need to have a better, resilient food system. Otherwise, would, to be a catastrophe. We'll have so many people who go to bed hungry. So we need to have better rules which will reflect the realities, rules which would enable businesses to invest and to flourish. Now, let me turn to the second. How can better rules contribute to better functioning markets? Here, I would like to say that agricultural markets remain highly protected and distorted. The OECD estimates that countries grant almost $630 billion a year from the period between 2022 and 2024. This includes budgetary outlays, but also transfers from consumers due to border measures such as tariffs. In parallel, governments provide only a fraction of this amount in support of general services, such as research, infrastructure, extension, and advisory services. Governments can provide more support to the seed sector to encourage innovation and dissemination. I think it would be money well spent if governments were to do that. If you look at the medium and long-term benefits, such actions by governments can provide to the seed sector and other sectors. Doing so is key to boosting productivity, including in low-income countries, and strengthening food security outcomes. At the same time, we know that new technologies are rapidly transforming the farm sector. These include new plant breeding technologies, gene editing, and data and digital tools. But many low-income farmers still lack access to very basic productive techniques and technologies, hampering their ability to improve yields sustainably and safeguard their livelihoods. WTO rules specify that SPS measures, as I mentioned, should be based on sound science. These measures cover measures that governments can introduce to protect food safety, plant and animal health. The SPS agreement of the WTO tries to strike a careful balance. On the one hand, the need for countries to protect themselves, but at the same time to avoid unnecessary restrictions to trade. And as I said, this has been one of the most successful agreements that we have, together with the agreement on technical barriers to trade. Strengthening the capacity of developing countries to meet these standards does not just improve SPS outcomes, it also enables producers to raise their incomes and help reduce food insecurity. Now, let me address the third question. What contribution can the seed sector make? Over the last year, we have been encouraged by numerous organizations who have spoken out in support of the rules-based global multilateral trading system. And of course, the ISF has been amongst them, and we are delighted by the support of the ISF with other institutions because they see value in a rules-based system. That has underpinned, as I said, the tremendous expansion of the global economy since the end of the Second World War. Stable and predictable global markets matter for the seed sector, just as they do for other actors in the value chain. It is vitally important that the seed sector engages with decision makers from across the WTO membership to share experiences, to discuss priorities, and to help shape the future of global trade. And the discussions like those we'll have here over the next few days can be an important part of laying the groundwork for doing so. Everyone here today needs to be part of the conversation about how we build resilient food systems for the future and the role that global trade rules and institutions can play in contributing. With the world's population forecast to reach 9.7 billion by 2050, it is vitally important for us to produce more food sustainably. Otherwise, several million people risk facing chronic hunger and malnutrition. Enhanced production starts with better seeds, which are robust in every sense, including drought, pest and disease resistance, and increased yields. We need to work together to build resilient food systems underpinned by robust global trade rules. The WTO has contributed significantly to the expansion of world trade in recent decades, which, as I said, amounted to 33 trillion last year, with growth in agriculture or trade in agriculture amounting to 2 trillion. Living standards across the world have improved, but we need to do more to strengthen the rules-based multilateral trading system to generate confidence among business operators, including those in the seed sector, to make the necessary investments to increase innovation and enhance productivity. I would like to wish you a very productive exchange and look forward to the conversations we will be having together here at this conference. Muito obrigado.
Thank you, Dr. Kessie, for sharing that perspective of agriculture and the importance of international cooperation. So we now come to the future of our sector. It's not just an idea. We have to understand that at the moment, the generation is already in the room and already making decisions and already influencing. The next generation of scientists, entrepreneurs, breeders, policy thinkers, and seed professionals and farmers will inherit both the progress we make and the challenges that we leave behind unsolved. So we have many of them with us here today, and I invite all young leaders to stand so that everybody knows exactly who they are. So all the young leaders in the room, please stand so that we know who you are. This is the future of our industry. At the back, on the sides, lateral, in the room. Well, amazing, thank you. So at ISF, youth engagement is not just symbolic, and it's not just a box that we think we have to tick so that we look good. We look good anyway, but we need to tick that box. It's central to building a global seed sector that remains innovative, inclusive, and fit for purpose. And to represent the youth in the room, I welcome to the stage our youth representative, Jade Alexis Sands. A really heartfelt applause.
Good morning. How is everybody doing today? Seeds carry the knowledge of the ancestors and the future of what things are going to be. H.P. Lovelace. My name is Jade. I'm from the Bahamas, an archipelago in the Caribbean, home to 400,000 people. We import 90% of our food, we have less than 5% arable land, and nearly 70% of our deaths are linked directly to diet and food choices. Today, I'm here with my fellow 2026 Engine ambassadors, the real seeds of agriculture. Every single person in this room has a story. But beyond our individual journeys, there is one thing that connects us all. A botanical legacy that started with seeds. A journey shaped by migration, tourism, global conflicts, and local economics. These seeds have defined culture, the way we celebrate, the way we make our national meals, and most importantly, our personal identities. We are here because of food, its diversity, and its origin, seeds. Every single one of us in this room is a cultivator, in the field, in the lab, and in the boardroom. Every decision we make has the power to protect cultures, traditions, and heritage, not just in our countries, but globally. We have lost much of our crop diversity, entire varieties gone. That's not just a statistic. That is culture disappearing, that is identity eroding, that is our grandmother seeds going silent. And the communities most vulnerable to that loss are communities like mine. So, as you navigate this year's World Seed Congress, as you network, trade, and do business, remember this. You are not just handling transactions, you are building resilience, restoring cultures, supporting small developing states like mine. Every decision you make here has the power to support food security, promote abundance, and strengthen food systems all at once. You can cultivate a young seed into something that changes the world. We are your Engine ambassadors. We carry indigenous knowledge, modern tools, and an urgency that only comes from living inside the problem. Back home in the Bahamas, our coat of arms carries 4 words that have guided us through everything. Through colonization, hurricanes, through importing 90% of our food, while sitting on some of the most beautiful land on earth. Forwards, onwards, upwards, together. That is what I ask for every person in this room, as you network, trade, and make decisions that will ripple through food systems around the world. Remember the farmers recovering from disasters, famines, and wars. Remember those on the front lines of climate change. Remember the small island developing states. Remember the seeds going silent and the people fighting for food security in their countries. Move forward with urgency, onwards with purpose, upwards with the next generation beside you, and always, always move together. So you, find us at the Future Generation Corner, where we can move forwards, onwards, upwards, together. Thank you.
Wow, the voice of youth. And now, for our second cultural moment, get ready. You are going to hear an instrument which is completely the heart of Portugal. Different versions from north to south, on the Azores Islands, on Madeira Islands, different versions everywhere. This instrument is called the aduf. The aduf. That's the name of this instrument. And the youth and the young generations, it follows logically after Jade has spoken, have this wonderful habit of taking something that is traditional and making it new and looking at it from a different way, because that's what innovation is, just looking at things from different ways. And they have given new perspectives, as you heard to the fado, and now you hear it in the adufs. So this group of young people has taken the aduf and given it a new performative role, rather than just something that would accompany processions or religious festivals or announce something important. So they've made it performative. I'm so proud of them. Thank you so much. So you're going to get the opportunity to hear the Gan beat percussion. Welcome them to the stage. Thank you. need percussion. Thank you, guys. Right now, we went from soulful, passionate fado to vitality and collective energy. Isn't that just what the program is all about? Isn't that what your job is going to be all about? It's my honor and my pleasure. Don't you dare leave the room because the minister's arriving. It's my pleasure now and my honor to invite to the stage our wonderful Secretary General of the International Seed Foundation, Michael Keller.
Bon dia. The minister is coming. We will have the time. You will be on time on the trading floor. But first of all, I would like to mention one thing. When we are setting up a Congress and we feel somehow, for the moment, lots of people are, it's difficult, a little bit even depressive, the situation is not easy. We thought about, hey, we are coming here. We want to build for you something which is a little bit of well-being. And you see our logo, and you see our slogan. This is about, hey, together we can move further. Together we can build our resilient future. But one thing, as seed people, we should never forget from where we are coming. We are business people, and for me it's an enormous pleasure to also raise here and mention the co-organization with the National Seed Association. I will wait 1 minute that the minister can take his seat. Honorable Minister, be welcome. Honorable Minister, it's an enormous pleasure for us to be here in Portugal, and you feel, we heard before about a seed song, which inspired us. In ISF, we have a seed song from a honorable life member, and I think we will add into this in our perspective. But I would like to mention in front of you the National Seed Association of ANSEME, because what is important, it's about us, it's about history. And we have the founding father of the National Seed Association of ANSEME here 45 years back. And I would like also Pedro, grandfather who founded the association, that the board of ANSEME is raising up that we can thank you also for welcoming you here in Portugal. Please. And Honorable Minister, when we decided to come to Portugal, we knew it's a beautiful place. We have the river, we have the sun. But something we discovered some weeks back, where ISF co-organized also with the economist in London. Portugal is #1 when it comes up to the Resilient Food System Index. What means this? Portugal is #1 when it comes up to availability, affordability, quality, safety, and innovation, nutrition in food. And I think this is something we should highlight here, because all what we heard before also is about resilient food system. And Portugal is showing this way. We heard from Jade how it's difficult in the Bahamas. And here you see where we would like to go together. And Minister, I hope everybody, we heard it here enough. Seeds is the starting point. Seeds is the livelihood. Anup from the World Bank mentioned it. And also we heard from Edwini from the World Trade Organization. It's about biodiversity. It's about innovation. And it's about crossing borders. And we need to remind all of us, no country is seed independent. And I think this is the starting point. We need to take into account when we are thinking about resilient food systems. And here in this room, I would like to emphasize one. This is the beauty of the seed sector. You have 1,800 seed people here. representing over 900 diverse seed companies. We never had so many different seed companies here, from family business to multinationals, from over 80 countries. We have the international organizations there. We are talking a lot, but we now need to decide and move ahead. Because that's the question we all have today. How can we make sure that seeds will contribute to the resilient food systems? We are not there today. We know it. Therefore, this wonderful mosaic I've shown you before is rather disrupted. And this is exactly where we need to think about together, and that's also the role of ISF. Now we are in Portugal, and we need to honor also your writers. And we have something, it's not the literal translation, but there's something written in the books of Saramago. It's about, in each of us, there is something without a name. And this is the spirit we need to have, because there's something, there's a seed, where together we can grow it, together. And this is exactly where we are looking for when we are looking for resilient food systems. Because one thing, and we need to be clear, and too often also in international organizations, in international food summits, the private sector is not recognized at the value they are bringing into the whole discussions, the value they have in bridging also innovations to farmers. The private seed sector and the private business itself, today, you know it, is outplaying when you're thinking on innovations for the futures, on investing. And this is where we need also policies. The whole philosophy of this Congress here together is about finding ways together. We heard, Anup, from you, you're looking for, and we are happy that you're here, but we need to do it. Far too often we have the same initiatives, or it was done 10 years ago, it failed, now we redo it. We need to sit together from the beginning. This is about the responsibility to avoid that something is launched there, but it's not reaching the farmer. And we know exactly, you need the private sector, but you need the private sector in its diversity. And this is also where we are saying, not each country should start to think about seed programs in different countries. That's where today, more than ever, we need to think how we can build it. And the essence, what we are looking for, and therefore it's also important that Edwini reminded us, there is something we need. This is this consistency globally. That's the global seed sector. The global seed sector is moving 10 times more seeds today than 20 years back. Seed is growing itself. Markets are growing. Plus 3 times since 25 years. The most important thing for us to help farmers, to reach farmers, also the smallholder farmers, we agree, and we know the issue, but what is the most important is money, but it's also the consistency and predictable rule book. This is what we need to work on, and we are not there, and that's where we have to engage together. I take another one, because that's the essence of us. Miguel Torga. When you read this, the universal is the local without walls. Is this not us? This is us. We are thinking global. The impact is local. But what we need at the international level, that we tear down the walls, that we can find. We need rule books. We need standards. We need to think in a universal way that globally we are able to reach all the farmers from South Sudan to Uruguay and everywhere. This is where we are sitting together. Now as ISF, I'm not here to make now a report what we have done, but I just would like to emphasize, as a sector also we have to push ourselves. First of all, we revisited our arbitration system, and all of you are writing every year contracts. We have thousands of contracts mentioning the arbitration system. I think we can be proud that we have our proper system. We have issues. You have contractual issues. Please think about, use it. You have now at international level an arbitration board. We have in place, we upskilled. We just yesterday made the training for our arbitrators. Be aware the system exists and it supports you, the trader. Legal seed practices, you know it. And it's the first time I'm very happy to report here. Every year I get calls before saying, oh, hey, come on, there is a company registered from that country I heard about. they are not good, or they are doing illegal seed practice. It's the first time I didn't get any call. I think this is also about upscaling our responsibility in doing legal seed practice. And you will see the banners everywhere. You hear something, tell us. Our first responsibility is to provide legal, healthy, quality seed to farmers. And we spoke about this also with the youth yesterday. And this is something I would like to emphasize. Many of you participated, and it's an initiative which is a joint initiative. It's not something new, but to bring into one voluntary guide for seed production. Social rights, our responsibility we have concerning employment, concerning youth, concerning child labor, concerning compensation, all this, we brought it in one guide because we have altogether responsibilities to deliver in our way of working. This is us, and you will hear a lot during the next days about these social guidelines which should guide you. They are not brand new, many of you are doing it, but we want to go further together. We are not reinventing the wheel, but you will see the don'ts and the do's, and please take this into account. Biodiversity, last year, you remember, we had Carrie Fowler coming. The gene banks, we need to think about our responsibility. I'm not speaking here about the International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources. We are not here on the discussions, which, yes, failed last year. We need to say it like that. But what we are looking for today, it's about our role we have concerning conservation. We are also responsible to maintain the diversity and to support gene banks, collections nationally. And this is an initiative we have taken to go further, to support gene banks. We visited the gene bank in Indonesia some weeks back. We have to support. It can be in-kind, it can be financial, but it needs to be done together and together with the governments to support biodiversity for the future and to allow also us in the future to have the right genetic resources for access for further breeding. One last point which is extremely important, inclusive seed systems. Anup, you mentioned the point on, seed is not accessible to all smallholder farmers. It starts with seed systems. And too often the policy debates are what? It's about opposing different seed systems, formal, informal, however you call it. What we are looking for, this is about joint action, that we think about one seed. The farmer does not care which seed system. The farmer looks for a solution. The right solution. Is it from a formal, informal, does not care. What we are looking for is one inclusive seed systems where you have different layers. We need protection, intellectual property project. We need certification. We need seed testing standards. That's what we need. That's the quality what to bring. But this should not hinder others, but others should not hinder ourselves to provide these seeds to the farmers. It's also about trust with international organizations. And for the first time, we have also, since a couple of years, the International Plant Protection Convention here, and Dr. Enrico is here. The most important thing when it comes up to phytosanitary measures, we need to move seeds which are healthy and which are not spreading around pests. This is our responsibility. But who knows the seed? It's us. And all the implementation of standards needs to start together with us. And for the first time, we will have a systems approach with countries, South Africa, the Philippines, Chile, the Netherlands, with the authorities, where we are building a pilot project. This can pave the way for the future. That not each time a seed is crossing the border, you need a certificate. No, there will be an audit, and based on this audit, you can move. We are not there. We have to learn together. But this is trust building. This is standard. This is supporting implementation of international standards with the private sector. We heard about trade. We do not need to come back on trade. Trade is essential. Thanks, Edwina, that you mentioned that one, because this one is always important to remind all of us. Without trade, we cannot find a solution of the future. And I cannot stop without mentioning innovation. Innovation is the DNA of the private seed sector. Yes, innovation today, the level of innovation is higher than in the public sector. And we need that also the authorities understand this. But we need to continue. It's not innovation for innovation. The innovation needs to reach the farmers. The innovation needs to move around the world. Therefore, the most important thing, and today we have 32 countries who have the regulatory oversight. we have a dynamics to recognize and to be able also to use latest plant breeding tools. Therefore, be a broker of engagement. Think about also your role you have when it comes up to set the scene for the future. But this needs to be done in collaboration with authorities. This needs to be done between us, but also with NGOs and the youth. With that, thank you again for being here. And I think I will now, before you, 2 small presentations from Marie, who is our operations director, who will show those who are here what ISF is doing, welcome you on the booth, and also we need to think yet on next year. We will have the representative for the Canadian Sea Trade Association also to welcome us in a city. I will not name it because I don't know how to pronounce it for this moment. Thank you for that. Marie, please.
Well, thank you very much, Michael, for this introduction. Right, good morning, everyone. This is a real pleasure to welcome you here in Lisbon for the ISF World Seed Congress 2026. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, and for our long-standing members, I would like to invite you warmly to visit the ISF booth during the Congress. Because ISF is not only this, ISF is much more than this annual gathering. We work all the year closely with our members worldwide to support the seed movement, to promote innovation, to strengthen sustainable seed system, and to help the seed sector speak with one voice. So, at the ISF booth, you can learn much more about the many initiatives we are currently advancing, from trade and plant breeding innovation to sustainability, phytosanitary matters, intellectual property, communication, youth engagement, and women's leadership. It's also the place to discover more about ISF service member and the advantage of being part of our federation. So, whether you are looking to connect with our technical expert, to understand how you can engage with the ISF working groups, to find out to access tools and resources, and simply learn how ISF can better support your organization. Our team will be there to speak with you. So please come, stop to the ISF booth, say hello, ask your question, and learn how to make the most of your ISF membership. See you there.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to you all. As we gather in beautiful Lisbon, I am very pleased to already give you a first glance of where we are heading next year. In 2027, the ISF World Seed Congress will take us to Toronto, Canada. Toronto is one of the most diverse and dynamic cities in the world, a city built on innovation, openness, business, culture, and connection. It will be a fitting host city for the global seed sector as we continue to look ahead and shape the future together. Our theme for next year will be Cultivating Ventures, and it reflects the spirit of what the World Seed Congress is all about: creating opportunities, building partnerships, opening new pathways, and supporting new ventures, large and small, that move our sector forward. Here in Lisbon, I warmly invite you to visit the World Seed Congress 2027 booth. Come and meet the team, learn more about Toronto, and get a first taste of what we are preparing for next year. And I should add, we have some fun activities at the booth waiting for you there. There will be games, giveaways, and a chance to win a free registration to next year's Congress in Toronto. So please visit the booth, take part, and start planning your journey to Canada with us, and I look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you, Marie and Ellen. Thank you. So as you've seen, Portugal is diverse, is passionate, is loud, is in your face, is efficient. It also has an agricultural story that is of adaptation, from Mediterranean production systems to Atlantic landscapes to research, entrepreneurship, and international cooperation. And as we meet here in Lisbon, I am very honored and very happy to have the presence of the minister in the room. And on a personal note, I'm very happy and honored because this minister is an example of cooperation and proactivity. I thank you, sir. So please join me in welcoming the Minister of Agriculture and Maritime Affairs. He's responsible for forests, land, sea, everything. He's the boss of everything. So thank you, sir, for being here. And I welcome to the stage the Honorable Minister José Manuel Fernandes. A round of applause.
Good morning, and thank you for the invitation, and thank you also for this acclamation. I want to os meus cumprimentos, mais cumprimentos to Pedro Dias, the president of the ANSEME, Artur Attavar, president of the ICF, Anup, Jagwani, sorry for my pronunciation, Dr. Edwin Casey, Michael Keller, Enrico Perotti, Annie Rosenbaum, Lorena Basso, Helen Sperry, Sergio Paschini, everybody, excellencies. And excellence and these distinguished guests, researchers, breeders, producers, and representatives of the international seed sector. I have saw the sentence of Miguel Torga, the universal is the local without alls, is also the local without borders. We have common challenges, we need to act together, we need to have the other word that we have say, predictability, that means also stability. And climate change have not walls or borders. And the other challenge that we have in the world, we need to act together with this universal spirit. It is a great pleasure to address this International Seed Congress under the theme Joint Actions, Resilient Future. This theme could not be more timely. We are living through a period marked by geopolitical uncertainty, climate change, pressure on natural resources, and growing global food demand. We know that we are more or less 8 billion. In a few years, we will be 9 billion. And the food security is also a challenge. In this context, agriculture faces one of the greatest challenges of our time, producing more food with fewer resources while ensuring sustainability, resilience, and food security. And food security, that means immediately food on the table, on the plate. And there is one strategic element of the heart of these challenges, seeds. The plant breeding and the seed sector plays a decisive role in the future of global agriculture. New plant varieties are essential to increase productivity, improve resistance to pests and disease, adapt crops to climate change, and ensure more efficient use of water and inputs. I have listened the word innovation. We cannot forget the word research. And this word research we need to share also the results of the research. The fundamental research is important, but the research also for results is very important. You know that in the European Union we have the biggest program in the world for research, Horizon Europe. And for the next MFF, Multi-Annual Financial Framework, 2028-2034, we will have a European fund, the name is European Competitiveness Fund, with 500 billion euros. And where the Horizon, the program for research, are more than 170 billion. We need to work to this program, cannot forget the seeds, cannot forget the research for vaccines, the research for this food security, the research to win and to improve our resistance to pests and diseases. And the pests and diseases, we don't have also borders in this issue, and we need to act together. At the same time, certified seeds systems guarantee quality, traceability, for phytosanitary safety, and reliability for farmers and consumers alike. Today, the global seed market exceeds 60 billion euros in value. More than 70,000 varieties of major agricultural crops are currently available worldwide, with around 4,000 new varieties introduced every year. In parallel, more than 8.8 million tons of certified agricultural seeds are produced annually for international markets. These numbers demonstrate the extraordinary scientific, technological, and economic relevance of this sector. When we talk about scientific, technological, again, we need to be universal. We cannot have this technology only for the European countries or only for some countries. But they also demonstrate something equally important. No country can address agricultural challenges alone. That is why international cooperation is essential. The growing collaboration between international organizations through the World Seed Partnership, bringing together the OECD, UPOV, ISTA, the International Seed Federation, and the World Farmers Organization. This represents an excellent example of how joint actions can strengthen sustainable agriculture systems worldwide. I hope also that the global leaders can make also this work together, all the leaders. The growing collaboration between international organizations are a very good step, a very good example. Portugal actively contributes to this effort through the participation of our national authorities in the OECD, UPOV, and ISTA frameworks. Ladies and gentlemen, technological progress in plant breeding has accelerated significantly in recent years. Innovations or research, such as new genomic techniques, I prefer to call new improvement techniques, can help develop crops that are more resilient to drought, more resistant to disease, and better adapted to the nutritional needs of a growing population. We support these new genomic techniques or new improvement techniques. We ask also to balanced and science-based regulation that guarantees safety while enabling innovation and competitiveness. We cannot be afraid with the word competitiveness, but the word competitiveness, we need to put this word in the same level of the word cohesion, social cohesion, territorial cohesion, and the objective, the aim also of sustainability. We are confident that the European Union will soon conclude the legislative process in this field. That means the dossier of new genomic techniques, to allowing European breeders and seed companies to fully benefit from these technologies in support of a stronger and more sustainable European agriculture. At the same time, we must never forget the importance of preserving plant genetic resources. Biodiversity is not only part of our natural heritage, it is also a strategic reserve for the future of agriculture. In Portugal, this mission is carried out by the Portuguese plant Germoplasm Bank. It's in the north of Portugal, my region, Braga, integrated with the National Institute for Agrarian and Veterinary Research in IAV. This remarkable infrastructure conserves more than 47,000 accessions for 150 plant species, including cereals, forage crops, vegetables, medicinal plants, and traditional varieties. It is one of the world's major genetic conservation centers and hosts the second large maize collection globally for the Mediterranean basin. The Germoplasm Bank also cooperates with the Svalbard Global Seed Vault in the Arctic, contributing to global food security and biodiversity preservation. Distinguished participants, allow me also to highlight the role of INIAV, the National Institute for Agrarian and Veterinary Research, and we have a hub in Elvas, a strategic center for applied agricultural research and seed development in Portugal. The work developed there demonstrates the importance of cooperation between science, farmers, industry, and distribution. INIAV leads breeding programs for cereals, legumes, pastures, and forage crops adapted to Mediterranean conditions and climate change challenges. In Portugal, pastures and forage systems represent more than 60% of our agricultural area, making this work particularly relevant for sustainable livestock systems and rural resilience. Strong partnerships have also been developed with producer organizations, universities, food industries, and retailers. One important example is the recommended varieties list from wheat and barley, developed in collaboration with farmers and industry stakeholders to promote certified seed use and improve product quality across the value chain. Another successful example is the cooperation between INIAV and Cota Arroz. Arroz is rice, the Portuguese Rice Technology Center. Together, they developed the Portuguese Carolina rice variety Caravela, a clear demonstration of our research, certified seed production, industry and retail can work together to create value. Today, This genuinely Portuguese rice variety reaches consumers through partnerships involving seed companies, farmers, processors, and retail distribution networks. This is precisely what a resilient agriculture system requires: collaboration across the entire value chain. Collaboration, or I prefer cooperation, more cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of agriculture will depend on our ability to research, to innovation, cooperation, and to invest in knowledge. Seeds are much more than an agricultural input. They are the starting point of food security. They are the foundation of resilient farming systems. They are a bridge between science, sustainability, and economic development. And in this economic development, we never can forget the social development. We cannot have competitiveness without cohesion, but we cannot have also competitiveness without social inclusion. The theme of this Congress, joint actions, resilient futures, remind us that only through international cooperation, scientific progress, and strong partnerships will we be able to build agricultural systems capable of feeding future generations sustainably. Portugal remains fully committed to this common effort, and we need, and we are capable, and we need to deliver, and deliver now. Thank you very much.
É uma estrela. Right, we're at the end of the opening ceremony. So we've talked trade, we've talked agriculture, we've talked ISF and associations, we've heard music, we've been inspired, we've been connected. Now go out and do great work. Have a great conference.